Please, down first.
For visiting us here in Cambodia today. It's quite an honor. I would like to thank all the dignitaries, Your Excellencies, professors, and all of our guests. Once again, I thank you for attending today. It's very much an honor that Professor Gross is visiting us for this very important program today. Thank you. University of Cambodia for the welcoming remarks. Thank you.
President, ladies and gentlemen, and good afternoon to all of you. It is indeed a great honor for me, on behalf of the University of Cambodia, for the lecture this afternoon. As you know very well that this is will be lectured to us this afternoon on the topic of the future of science and human development. Let me take this opportunity to express our proud appreciation to Mr. Uwe Morovitz, Chairman of the International Peace Foundation, for organizing a series of esteemed speakers under the Bridge Program for Cambodia, and this is the third in the series. We're very much delighted that this afternoon we will have the speakers addressing us on the important topic here. I also want to thank all of you for his role and of course for his academic work, science work in the period of physics. A few lectures that we will be here at the University of Cambodia, and it's a very humble place. We will move by September. We will have activities being taken here. The University of Cambodia also decided faculty and staff. I think this is really to achieve from this lecture this afternoon is to really become more interested in the work of science. Science is really the key to inspire them to become one, of course, to be students forever, and have a sense of wonder. I think the idea, of course, promote the philosophy of lifelong learning as my Prof. It's no better to speaker than Professor David Gross, who will be sharing with us his knowledge, his wisdom, and certainly, of course, his scientific work in his own field, and of course for his international experience, truly international experience. And that's why we will also let me wish you, Professor David Gross, that you will be a warm welcome and a good afternoon to all of you. Thank you very much for the presence.
Thank you very much.
Physics, chemistry, medicine, and economics, as well as other keynote speakers and artists, including Hong Kong actor Jackie Chan, Hollywood film director Oliver Stone, and world-renowned violinist Vladimir Shklarski. The third ASEAN series of bridges is an independent contribution to the Decade for Culture of Peace and Nonviolence, which was initiated and promoted by the United Bridges has been established as an international, intercultural and interdisciplinary platform for creative cultures of learning with solution how to achieve peace. When we believe the first step towards peace, life, people who speak different languages. We live in a world where some people pretend to know the answers and solutions, how to solve problems, how to achieve it. The International Peace Foundation believes that people connected problems of our peace with nature and the environment, peace between nations, cultures, and religions. Peace is a process. Dialogue public with you. Peace is not something which can be left to the elite of a few, but to achieve peace, but that there are many ways, and certainly ways we have never thought of to go. We all look forward to his keynote speech and to his important contribution toward.
Please stand, and I invite Dr. Angus Monroe to read the citation. Thank you.
Thereafter, he returned to the United States to his PhD in physics at the University of California in Berkeley. After a period at the Harvard Society of Fellows, he went to Princeton as assistant professor of theoretical physics. During his time at Harvard and Princeton, he worked on a strong nuclear force which holds quarks and protons and neutrons together. He's also been a recipient of other prestigious awards, including the Carter Foundation Fellowship, the Iraq Medal, and many others. He's delighted and honoured to award Professor David J. Gross with an honorary doctorate in science, including exploring alternatives to the existing multiverse proposals.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is from our staff at the University faculty. And also gift. Okay.
Thank you so much.
How do you say that in Cambodia? Such as, first and foremost, a new, different way of thinking about the universe, but the scientific method has many. By the way, I would also suggest that you all move to the audience so you can see the screen. What we are made of, what we are, what is life. I'll briefly review the knowledge of nature in the fields of biology, and I will talk about both. And then I will also talk how we can use science to solve some of the problems that human progress has led to. Advances always come from learning new things whose consequences are unimaginable. And that indeed in the last 400 years, and especially the last 100 years, and especially the last 50 years, always more and more, has produced technology of immense benefit to humankind, but also presents great dangers. The advances of heat and energy, electric bombs, was rather primitive understanding of nuclear physics. It didn't need quantum chromodynamics to build bombs. It didn't take much. Unfortunately, they're very easy to build. And they are an enormous threat to civilization. And I just want to remind the young people in this audience who probably don't, especially the US and Russia, which can destroy in a few hours. You're scared of, should be scared of that as well. And urge your governments, my government, and everyone to get rid of these weapons. This unbelievable expansion of the human population. The human population was more or less constant, a little bit of increase after the discovery of agriculture, a big increase. But with the Industrial Revolution and the application of the fruits of science, it has taken off. The lifespan is doubled. And tools and better toys. And that has led to an concomitant increase in the consumption of energy. And this exponential increase of energy consumption, which goes along, are beginning to be quite severe for our planet as a whole. These are variations of the Earth's surface temperature over the in this last quadrant, first decade of the 21st century, and the projections look, atmospheric science, of the emissions, mostly of carbon dioxide, that are emitted as we use up the natural correlation between CO2 emissions and temperature is undeniably the case. CO2 continues to be emitted, and with new countries like China coming on strong, the projections are very scary. The IPCC, the United Nations that won the Nobel Prize a few years ago for their scientists, when they produce knowledge, publish it. And most scientists get their rewards, recognition, Nobel Prizes, based on the work that they publish. What does publish mean? They write a book, you get no recognition. No scientist will be willing to do that. They want to be recognized for what they do. So the people working on these military laboratories you're talking about are clearly not scientists. Because if they were scientists, they wouldn't work in that way.
To Dr. and especially to you. And we are really happy to have you here. Just a moment, we have heard that you describe about galaxies in which there are many stars and many planets. Similarly, Buddha also said that there are many stars and many planets in which living beings live. So, we would like to know from you, from your understanding between the Buddha theories and the science.
Which theories? Very hard to see them. They're very small and they don't emit light. But we can see them indirectly. By now we have observed around 400 to 500 planets and stars around the galaxy. And this is a very alive subject in astrophysics. We have a program at my institute, which is beginning next week, on exoplanets, a study of planets outside our solar system. We now think that there are lots and lots of planets, some which should look like the Earth. The purpose of dreams was to remind you of things that you're trying to forget. But this other theory was that the human mind needs a way of throwing out memories and not keeping them. That you sleep. The purpose of sleep beyond physical restoration is to stabilize human thought. And so that during sleep, the brain sort of runs in reverse and brings up things that made an impression during the day and disremembers them, weakens the neural connections that otherwise would form memory. Now, what you're conscious of, however, are the other experiences that are built in to your brain, ones that you remember very well, that are associated with those new memories that you're actually trying. The progress in imaging, studying what goes on in detail is immense, and I have no doubt that some kind of understanding along perhaps that direction or some other direction.
Oh, sorry. My name is Nom Chandesmai. I'm a 2C student. And my question is, have you got an idea to take some measure on, or have you got an idea to take up measure on air pollution in Cambodia? And
Air pollution? No. Oh. In Cambodia. You have air pollution? Air, it seems pretty good here. Yeah. Now, anyway, the air pollution is not a hard problem to solve if you're careful. 10 years, you'll have 10 times as many cars because you will now have the nano, and all of those motorcycles will be replaced by cars, and it'll be a mess.
បាទថ្ងៃនេះសាកលវិទ្យាកម្ពុជាបានរៀបចំបទកថាមួយសហការដោយសហការជាមួយមន្តិសន្តិភាពអន្តរជាតិបទកថានេះគឺយើងបានអញ្ជើញលោកសាស្ត្រាចារ្យ David Jonathan Gross បច្ចុប្បន្នជាសាស្ត្រាចារ្យនៃសាកលវិទ្យាល័យនៃរដ្ឋ California នៅទីក្រុង Santa Barbara លោកសាស្ត្រាចារ្យ Gross នេះគាត់ជាវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រអ្នកវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រមួយរូបដែលបានទទួលមេដាយ Nobel ផ្នែកខាងរូបវិទ្យាហើយគាត់បានមកធ្វើបទកថាថ្ងៃសៀលនេះជូនចំពោះនិស្សិតក៏ដូចជាគ្រូបង្រៀនយើងក៏ដូចជាមជ្ឈដ្ឋានវិទ្យាវត្ថុទូទៅដែលបានជួយចូលរួមនេះអំពីអនាគតនៃវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រនិងការអភិវឌ្ឍមនុស្សបាទប្រធានបទនេះគឺធំទូលំទូលាយប៉ុន្តែអ្វីដែលសំខាន់នេះគឺផ្ដោតអារម្មណ៍ឲ្យធ្វើយ៉ាងណាឲ្យសិស្សយើងក៏ដូចជាអ្នកចូលរួមនឹងចាប់អារម្មណ៍ទៅវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រហើយផ្នែកវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រជាផ្នែកមួយសំខាន់ក្នុងការសិក្សាស្រាវជ្រាវនៅទូទាំងពិភពលោកក៏ដូចនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាយើងដែរស្មើថ្ងៃសៅរ៍នេះគឺថាគាត់បានធ្វើបទកថាមួយដ៏សំខាន់ទៅលើអ្វីដែលគាត់បានស្រាវជ្រាវឃើញហើយជាពិសេសវិភាគទានរបស់គាត់ទៅលើផ្នែករូបសាស្ត្រនេះក៏ដូចជាវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រជាទូទៅអ្វីដែលសំខាន់គឺគាត់បានចូលរួមចំណែកធ្វើយ៉ាងណាឲ្យសិស្សយើងយកចិត្តទុកដាក់រៀនសូត្រស្រាវជ្រាវពីវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រព្រោះវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រគឺថាជាផ្នែកមួយក្នុងការចូលរួមចំណែកក្នុងការអភិវឌ្ឍមនុស្សលោកទាំងមូលហើយអ្វីដែលសំខាន់នោះគាត់ថាកន្លងមកនេះមានការជឿនលឿនជាច្រើនលើវិស័យវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រហ្នឹងជាពិសេសក្នុងការធ្វើយ៉ាងណាឲ្យជីវិតរបស់មនុស្សមានការប្រែប្រួលជាច្រើនជាពិសេសពីការរីកចម្រើនហ្នឹងហើយជាពិសេសតកតងនឹងធម្មជាតិក្តីតកតងនឹងការបង្កើននៃបច្ចេកវិទ្យាក្តីអ្វីដែលសំខាន់ទៀតគឺថាការប្រើប្រាស់វិទ្យាសាស្ត្រដើម្បីអភិវឌ្ឍរបស់មនុស្សលោកយើងនេះហើយយើងចង់ជំរុញធ្វើយ៉ាងណានៅសាកលវិទ្យាល័យរបស់យើងនេះឲ្យនិស្សិតរបស់យើងចាប់អារម្មណ៍ពីវិទ្យាសាស្ត្របានច្រើនជាងមុនជាពិសេសក្នុងការរៀនសូត្រក្នុងការស្រាវជ្រាវក៏ដូចជាការរៀនយកជាសញ្ញាបត្រខ្លីផ្នែកវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រហ្នឹងបាទហើយលើកនេះជាបទកថាមួយដែលជាវិក្កាមសម្រាប់វិក្កាមទី3នៅក្នុងកម្មវិធីស្ពាននៃអង្គការមូលនិធិ សន្តិភាពអន្តរជាតិនេះនឹងសាកលវិទ្យាល័យកម្ពុជាយើងចឹងយើងបានលទ្ធផលល្អដោយសារនិស្សិតមួយចំនួនគាត់ចាប់អារម្មណ៍ទៅវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រហើយក៏បានសួរសំណួរជាច្រើនទាក់ទងនឹងឧទាហរណ៍ថាផលប្រយោជន៍និងគុណសម្បត្តិនិងគុណវិបត្តិនៃវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រក៏ដូចជាគុណសម្បត្តិនិងគុណវិបត្តិនៃឧទាហរណ៍ការអភិវឌ្ឍនៃអាវុធនុយក្លេអ៊ែរដែលជាប្រើប្រាស់វិទ្យាសាស្ត្រជាច្រើនហើយថាធ្វើយ៉ាងណាឲ្យសិស្សជាទូទៅនៅប្រទេសខ្មែរក្តីក៏នៅខាងក្រៅឲ្យចាប់អារម្មណ៍ក្នុងការរៀនសូត្រពីវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រតើធ្វើយ៉ាងម៉េចហើយយើងធ្វើយ៉ាងណាគឺថាយើងត្រូវខំជំរុញឲ្យនិស្សិតមានជំនឿឲ្យគាត់មានការចាប់អារម្មណ៍ហើយមែនតើទៅឲ្យគាត់ស្រឡាញ់ហើយខិតខំរៀនសូត្រផ្នែកវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រនេះដើម្បីអភិវឌ្ឍប្រទេសជាតិយើងក៏ដូចជាអន្តរជាតិដែរបាទ
ឯកឧត្តមសាកលវិទ្យាល័យកម្ពុជានឹងបន្តជួយអ្នកវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រនៅលើពិភពលោកផ្សេងទៀតឬក៏យ៉ាងណាថ្ងៃណា
បាទនេះជាវិក្កាមទី3យើងនៅវិក្កាម5ទៀតដែលគាត់អញ្ជើញមកហើយនៅក្នុងនោះមានវិក្កាមវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រផ្នែកសេដ្ឋកិច្ចមានយើងហៅថាអ្នកផលិតកុនហើយនឹងមានវិទ្យាសាស្ត្រផ្សេងទៀតក៏ដូចជាថ្នាក់ដឹកនាំចឹងយើងនៅ5រូបទៀតនៅ5វិក្កាមទៀតដែលអញ្ជើញមកពេលនេះរហូតដល់ខែ4ហើយយើងនឹងធ្វើបទកថាជាបន្តទៀត